Okay, day two. So we're going to start today off by just reflecting. Everything, the homework you did, whether you did that yesterday, whether you're watching the replay and you did it a couple days ago. If you haven't done it yet, definitely make sure to come back and actually like review everything. That's a big part of it. It's like taking notes in class when we're in school. We have to go back and review it and read it over to really start comprehending and putting all those pieces together, right? So, how often did you get triggered? And are there any patterns that started popping out at you when you listed how often are you triggered? What was triggering you? Maybe there's a certain place you get triggered a lot at work, but you're pretty chill at home. Maybe you get triggered at home like all the time and you never get triggered at work. Maybe it's always when you're driving, whatever it might be. We just want to start pulling those patterns out, right? So just take a few minutes. If you haven't done it already, pause the video and uh, just reflect on that and see if you can't pull out any similarities, patterns, etc., that are popping out at you. Okay. Okay, so this is such a good one. I just this one gets a lot of people, and it always makes me think of Christmas movies, our true priorities and our actions. Now you're thinking, okay, what does this have to do with capacity? But this is where a ton of stress can actually stem from. I deal a lot with relationships, healing those relationships with yourself, with your spouse, kids, etc. But at the core of it, one of the foundational pillars is your actions relating to your true priorities. So if just an outside person looks at your life and they had to guess what your priorities are, would they guess correctly? So let's say, and again, I think of those Christmas movies, you have the, executive parent, we'll just say the dad, because in the Christmas movies, it's usually the dad, the neglectful, absentee father, right? And he works 12, 14 hours a day. He comes home late. He leaves early, even when he's home. Kids are trying to talk to them. Spouse, wife is trying to talk to him. And he's on his phone. He's checking emails. He's so distracted. He's just like mentally absent. Even when he's at home, he's not there. And women do this just as frequently. I just use the guy because that's what you always see in the movies, but women do this just as frequently. Oh, I have to check this. And especially as business owners, because as women, we are classic for trying to multitask. But when it comes down to spending time with people, actually taking those actions for our priorities, we can't multitask. It just, our quality goes to quantity, right? Like it just doesn't work. So that's where, if you're that high profile executive, CEO, business owner, whatever it might be, when someone just looks at your life from the outside, they don't know you, they don't really know you intimately, have those conversations, know what your true passions, your true cares, yada, yada. They're just kind of like, they see you walking past every day, yada, yada. For most people, those high achieving, successful people, what are your priorities? You would say work is your number one priority. And we're going back to think to that absentee dad who's always working, the workaholic. Oh, well, you're always working. So obviously work is your number one priority, right? But the thing is, well, yes, some of those people really do have their work as their number one priority, especially if they're single. For most family people, their number one priority is their family. They're working so hard for their family. I have to make all of this money to give my kids what I never had. I just want to give my wife or husband the best possible stuff. And little side note here, guys, dig deep into that. Is that secretly because there's low key guilt simmering there for never being around, for missing family things, not being at the soccer games, missing the school stuff, missing family dinners, whatever it might be, right? It's kind of some weird human nature to try and spoil people, buy people things, the apology gifts in place of just showing up, right? Which of course means we have to make more money, which means we have to be at work more, exacerbating the reason we have to buy all these things in the first place because we're never there, right? See how it all cycles? So really look at your life. Know, like, first of all, what are your true priorities? Like for me, it's my boyfriend, my dogs, my family unit, and then it's my job. My family comes first, then my job comes after that, right? Most people would say the same thing, family first, and then work second, or maybe garden second, then home, whatever it might be. It depends, right? But for most people, people come first in their life. So then, knowing what your true priorities are, do your actions reflect this? Do you put your family first? Do you show up for them? Do you spend time with them? Or when they're trying to tell you something, whether it's important or not, they're really excited. They come in, hey, oh, you have to hear, guess what happened? And you're like, oh, wait. Hey, like, oh, wait. Oh, right? Are you showing them that they're a priority? Or are you showing your priority is secretly something else? Right? And of course, hopefully you're catching on now that if our number one priorities are family, but our actions do not reflect it, and we're actually straining those relationships with them, really causing a lot of tension at home, this causes a lot of stress, and that just unnecessary stress that exacerbates everything, making everything worse, creating those more cycles. And when we get in a fight with people, let's say you come home late, you miss the dinner, whatever, you forgot about something because you're so busy working, they get mad at you, you have a bit of a fight, they storm off. Right now, you're not spending any time together. So then you either think like, oh, well, maybe I'll just work more anyway. They don't want to spend time with me. Like, do you see how this can all kind of really snowball? Right? Our actions are the most important. It's that picture paints 1,000 words. Saying something is darn near pointless unless our actions follow through with it. Oh, you're so important to me, honey. I love you so much. But meantime, I don't respect your boundaries. I don't show up for you, and I don't treat you very nicely. I'm not going to believe you actually love me because you're not showing me that, right? So actions are so, so important. And this is why I love this topic, because when our actions don't reflect our true priorities, which for a lot of us high achievers, successful people, especially business owners, we're pulled in 200 different directions. We don't realize what we're doing, the trouble we're actually causing, and what our actions are actually telling other people, right? So this is where we can trick ourselves into anything, and that includes why we're doing something. Oh, I have to miss all the important milestones in my kid's life because I have to get this project done, because I have to make the money, which I'm making for them anyway, so it's fine. Oh, 20 years from now, when we have absolutely no relationship at all, they'll understand and they'll come back. Like, right? All of these things. Trust me, guys, as a massage therapist, I have had so many clients get divorced. I think I know why so many people get divorced in their 40s and 50s, because the kids grow up, the kids leave home, then you're there with your spouse and nobody else. But meanwhile, you've put all your attention, all your focus to the kids. You've grown apart as a married couple, and now you don't even know each other anymore. And I've literally had people tell me, well, I just thought I'll take care of the kids first, and once they're grown, I'll worry about my husband then. Well, by then there is no relationship. Like, it's years of neglect. Like, they've probably found someone else. Now, I do not condone cheating at all, but there's I don't want to say there's nothing left to save, but people have moved on at that point. Oh, I'll worry about my husband in 10 years. Well, he ain't going to be there in 10 years. right? But we can trick ourselves into thinking, yeah, that's the best idea. The kids are just too busy. I have too much on my plate right now. Yeah, that'll work. It'll be fine. He's probably thinking the same thing anyway. It's fine, right? All right. So again, we're going to really think down to those actions. Who gets my calmest energy? Do I show up at work for all my clients, all my coworkers, and I'm the best me, I'm super calm, I'm in control of everything, blah, blah, blah. And then I get home and I'm just so exhausted from being the best me ever that my family gets the leftover crap of my exhaustion, irritability, snapping, because like, oh God, do you know the day I've had? Like, oh, do you know what I have to put up with? And then our family gets kind of the leftover crap of us, right? So really just kind of think about that for a minute, and where do you put your best energy into? Now, I'm not saying we should go to work and half-ass it and, just kind of not be our best version, and just so we can go home at night and be a good person towards our family. I'm not saying that at all, but it's about not depleting yourself at work to the point that there's nothing left for your family. That is why I deal with this expanding our plates, expanding our capacities, really calming our body down, getting rid of that stress, getting rid of the anxiety, or controlling it like the best of our ability, working on it gradually. Everything's a process, so that we have the capacity for everything at work and coming home and still having a ton of energy and the best of us still available for our family. Everybody gets us because there's so much of us to go around. We have such a huge plate. We can pile work and family on the plate. They both fit, right? And then we start diving into the self-care, self-respect, taking care of ourselves, stuff like that to keep us in that best shape. But I do not have time to talk about everything in this event. So we have to stick to some basics, some really good food for thought. So just remember too, is when we have low capacity, when we're starting to get maxed out, urgency wins out over importance. So that's where the deadlines, the work, the whatever, oh my God, I got the emergency text, and you run out of the house and your kid's like, but we're going to the park. Where'd you go? And that's where we really have to, going back to that power pause, problem solving, taking a moment, not letting the emotions, when we get that text, oh, there's an emergency. That's an emotion that takes over, the stress, the anxiety, and then you bolt out. That's your emotions taking control. Whereas we can otherwise, if we're staying in control, we can take a breath and be like, okay, is this an actual emergency? How can I problem solve this? Do I need to handle this? Can this wait at all? Is this actually an emergency, or is someone else letting their emotions take control? I've already made a promise, I'm going to the park with my kid. Like, is this more important than that? Is there some other way to manage this? And maybe in some cases, like, you do have to take that work emergency, but there's ways to handle it. The emotional reaction, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go, blah, blah, I'll make it up to you later, and they run out. We've all seen this on TV. We've seen it in movies. Maybe you've had it happen to you in your life, but that's the emotional reaction. Whereas if we're responding, we're thinking about it, we're planning, then we can actually communicate, hey, listen, bud, I know I promised to go to the park. I really can't think of another way to take care of this, blah, blah. And you actually have a conversation and you problem solve that situation. So you're not literally just running away from them, making them feel unimportant, right? Big difference there, big difference. So lots of food for thought here. Maybe some ahas coming in. So here's where we're going to check out our energies. So for a lot of people, and I have gotten caught up in this myself, we get feeling stressed, we're kind of feeling the pressure, we need a small little break, a little escape for a minute, and then it's that, oh, I'll just go on social for, I'll just check it out for 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. 45 minutes later, we're still scrolling, right? Huge energy drain. And especially if you're the person like, one of my guilty pleasures, my boyfriend hates it, is the videos where they're reacting to the Reddit. Oh my God. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. It makes me shake my head. It just, I guess that little check-in with some people's realities, like, oh wow, there's people out there like that. Like, anyway, it's my little guilty pleasure. But it is also that we have to check ourselves, because that is drama. I'm literally listening to drama. And as we know, drama is really easy to get sucked into. It's almost like a bit of a contagion, how laughter is infectious. Drama is infectious because we get like really caught up in it. Drama's exciting. That's why we watch these silly shows and stuff like that, because it's exciting. And we can actually almost like get addicted to that excitement where we need more drama, we need more drama. Like, this is a classic narcissist person. They love drama because they have to be the center of attention. They create drama so they can just have things to do, and woo, like they feel like little puppet masters. But so we have to check ourselves, because the social, same thing. If you're scrolling, depending on what the algorithm and you've set up on your feed, it can be a lot of like doom scrolling. It can be a lot of like, oh, time to give my pups some medication after this. Okay. It can really affect our mental health. It's like, if you see nothing but the world's ending, life is so bad, dangerous and divided, it can really affect our mental health, causing depression. It gets into our subconscious, like, oh my God, the world's a terrible place. Oh my God, the economy, there's no money to go around. And all of a sudden, we start reflecting that in our life around us. It starts literally getting to us, right? That's where a big thing, like all the gurus have said it, like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, blah, blah, blah. We create our own reality. We create our own economy. Like, even during COVID, a ton of businesses got shut down and went bankrupt. Yes, but there's a ton of people that had record profits that year. Like, I know a hairstylist who made the most money she's ever made, ever, in a year, while she was shut down during COVID, because she got creative, she thought outside the box, she came up with all these little take home. Anyway, she made a crap ton of money because she just got out of that. Oh, I need to cut people's hair, I'm an in-person person. No, she got creative, she problem solved, and she made a crap ton of money. She made her own economy. She didn't let everything so bad stop her. She's like, oh, that might be bad for you, but I'm rocking it. Right? So really pay attention and think, where's my time going? What am I doing? Where do I spend the most of my energy? And especially the emotional energy, right? Like, am I scrolling, crying at these horrible TikToks? Am I letting my anxiety get the best of me? And, oh, climate change, that, global, this, and I'm just like spewing out, like, right? Really paying attention to, what am I doing all day? Really, where's my energy going? And remember, Tony Robbins is famous for saying this: energy flows where focus goes, right? So what are we focusing on? Are we focusing on doomsday? We're going to put all of our energy into doomsday, nothing but negativity. I mean, how do you think that's going to turn out, right? So you need to really think about, and I have a list here for typical top drains: overgiving, overthinking, controlling habits, guilt-driven decisions. Ladies, we are classic guilt people. Feel guilty when we're resting, feel guilty for saying no, feel guilty for doing anything for ourselves whatsoever, feel guilty for even wanting to buy ourselves something nice. Like, we have a guilt problem. As women, we have a guilt problem. But if you're like me, also, if you've been in survival mode I was in survival mode for like a decade. And when we're in survival mode, high stress, high anxiety, we become control freaks, like hardcore. So really think about, you know, I mean, you could have all of these, but maybe just focus on the top one because it is typical for a lot of us. Like I used to be full of guilt, definitely a control freak, overthinking. Heck yeah, living in my head. I still actually get caught overthinking and overgiving, people pleasing. Especially if you're from Canada, we are classic people pleasers. We run into a tree and we apologize to the tree and try and make it better somehow. So just again, here we're gaining some awareness over where all this is going, right? So as you can see, how our emotional control, focusing with the right priorities really can be the key to being calm in every situation. From the last, thinking of yesterday, thinking of today, right? Putting it together. Yes, it really is, I think, like the bedrock foundation of all of this. Okay. So I love touching on boundaries because we're talking about the priorities. So we're going to set a boundary for ourselves with our priorities. We looked at our true priorities. Do our actions reflect our priorities? No. Okay. So we've looked at some of our energy leaks. Now we're going to make the boundary for it. What am I no longer available for? Maybe you're no longer available to waste an hour plus every day scrolling on socials. Maybe you're no longer available for pulling up your phone, when your kid or your spouse is trying to talk to you. Maybe you're no longer available for continuing to strain those relationships or putting yourself out because you don't know how to say no. Like, whatever it might be, some positive line you can draw that you can start implementing today. Like one of my very first boundaries was I was not going to do anything work related after 7 p.m. My boyfriend would leave for work at 6. Well, at one point he left for work at 5 in the morning, but he would leave for work 6:30 in the morning. So we'd get up and literally we'd just get him off to work, and that would be that. And then when he came home Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I worked into the evening. So I wouldn't 3 days of the week, I wouldn't see him till like 7:30, right? So what I found happening was if my day was really busy, sometimes I wouldn't get all my charting done, yes, massage therapists do chart, just like nurses have charts on you. We keep charts on you too, especially if you've been in a car accident, because sometimes lawyers want those notes and charts. So, um, and so sometimes I wouldn't get around to finishing all my paperwork, putting in all the financials, doing all the laundry. The secret life of a massage therapist is just constant laundry. And I would try and get as much done as possible before bed. So I would end up literally working the entire time. I'd be eating and then I'd be doing charting and then we'd go to bed. So I'd never actually have any quality time with my boyfriend. And I don't know how much I want to get into. I'll quickly touch on it. Quality versus quantity. If you're sitting in the room with someone, like spending 4 hours in the same room with someone is still not as good as spending like 1 hour of quality time with them, where you give them your full focus. They are the most important thing in the world for that one solid hour. That is going to be 10 times more meaningful than 4 hours of what? I'm watching this movie with you, even though I'm on my phone and checking my email and kind of ignoring you. Like, huge difference. So my first boundary was that every single evening, I was not going to do anything work related past 7 p.m. Mondays, I stopped work at 5. So maybe I didn't do anything work related after 6, but my hard stop, 7 p.m., nothing work related at all. And that would give me at least a minimum of a half an hour to sit on the couch, watch a little sitcom with my boyfriend, and actually be with him. No phones, no texting, no computer, nothing. It was just us laughing, making jokes at the TV or whatever, or if we chose to play a game, whatever. But usually we just want to sit and like decompress. and maybe having a glass of wine and just sitting together. That was my very first boundary I put in place. And let me tell you, night and day difference. It was amazing. Like instantly, our relationship was getting better because we're actually spending time together, right? Not just being in the same room together. Big difference. So, remove a leak, make a boundary, whatever it might be. You can decide that. Pause this video, do that right now. And it doesn't have to be crazy like mine was, just nothing work related after 7 p.m. Super simple, right? All right. Day 2 homework. This one, I love this one. This one comes with a story. So I want you to prioritize your number one priority. Actually prioritize it tonight. I would also love for you to remove one of your leaks in the next couple of days, but we are going to prioritize your number one priority. So for example, one of my clients, single mom of 2 kids, they were like 12 and 15, teenage-ish. And of course, she's a business owner, single mom, doing all the things, running ragged, trying to multitask like a crazy person. And so we are talking about the priorities, stuff like this, right? This exact stuff. And so I said, okay, tonight I challenge you to spend the evening with your kids, whether it's a movie, playing games, whatever it might be, but no devices. Nothing that's going to distract. It is going to be quality time with your kids. Everyone leaves the phone in a separate room. You can decide together what you're going to do, but spend the evening, no devices, no distractions, focused attention. They get all of it. She came back the next day and she said that was the best evening she had in since she could remember. They made terrible jokes. They chatted about nothing. You know how, like, especially teenagers like to talk about like things are so important and da da da, and they're not. And she had a boy and a girl, so of course the girl's having all this, you know, things that are again super important when you're a teenage girl, but are not important in real life at all. So she said they just kind of talked about nothing. They watched a movie, and she said she actually felt her body at like 8 p.m. She actually like felt herself getting like tired. And she said she came to the realization herself, I have been spending every evening forcing myself to not get tired, trying to get more stuff done. She's like, I did not realize how to the core exhausted I am, which again, we know plays into the more tired we are, the more exhausted we are, the more the emotions are allowed to come out and take that control away from us. So rest is so important. Like she was keeping busy to avoid listening to what her body was trying to tell her it needed. I'm too busy for self-care, right? So it's so funny. She's, like I said, the best evening she had in a while. She felt so much closer to her kids. Even the next morning, their relationship was better already because they had that bonding, right? So super powerful, super simple, but yes. So prioritize your number one priority tonight. And again, it doesn't have to be something crazy. It can be like, we're going to spend 1 hour playing games. We're going to spend a half an hour catching up about, we're just going to talk. That's it. Like whatever it might be, you guys decide together and focus quality. No devices, no distractions. They get your 100% focused attention. Okay. All right. I can't wait to hear how it goes. Leave the comments. When you do this, come back to this video, drop all the comments in how it went, or you can comment on the video tomorrow. But yeah, so excited. All right, guys, have an excellent rest of your day and happy prioritizing.